My name's Lewis Colburn. I'm one of the managers here at NextFab Studio in Philadelphia. And what NextFab is a membership-based prototyping and technology workshop. So it sort of works like a gym in the sense that people can buy a membership, and instead of having access to a treadmill or a weight machine, they have access to all the things you see behind you: the ShopBot CNC router, 3D printing, electronics prototyping, so a whole variety of machines and technology for prototyping products, for working on art projects, or simply for people who are interested in this stuff as a hobby. Anyone can come in here and buy a membership, and that's part of the beauty of NextFab, is that most people wouldn't have the funds or the time or the knowledge to run this equipment or work with it, but here they can buy a membership, they can take classes, they can learn to use everything safely, and then work on their own projects here, whether it's a product they're developing, or a piece of furniture for their house, or maybe a new security system. So there's a whole variety of things that we can do here. Where we are right now, we opened up in January. And the idea came about, our founder, Evan Malone, has a degree in engineering from Cornell University, and his background is in robotics and 3D printing. And one of his thesis projects was the Fab at Home, which is an open source 3D printer. And basically that means that you can get the plans online, and then for about $2,500 you can make a functioning 3D printer. Air compressor that might cycle on. It may be kind of loud, so be forewarned. We might have to pause it if that happens. Anyway, the Fab at Home is an open source 3D printer, and that means that you can put a whole variety of materials through it. You can put plastics, even peanut butter, things like that. But it's something that's open source, so anyone can make it. And so that's part of his philosophy, is giving people access to this technology and kind of equipping the public for manufacturing in the 21st century, right? Because these are technologies that are widely used in industry, but they're expensive and they're still pretty removed from everyday life. People don't know what these things are, and when we explain it to them, there's this sort of wonderful moment of, oh my God, we have things that can do that now. So in some ways, it's making this accessible to people. It's also kind of empowering people by explaining, giving them the knowledge about how things are made and giving them the knowledge to make things themselves. I think, so much manufacturing is, say, going overseas in the United States to places all around the world, that we don't often have a physical knowledge of how the things that we work with, whether they're electronics like that camera or the chairs that we sit on, are made. And I think, at the fundamental level, giving people access to that knowledge is really important. So that's kind of where that's sort of the overarching goal. On the ground, we're working with companies to prototype products. We're working with artists who are, making, a whole variety of things here, sculptures and small jewelry, and and working with high school students teaching a robotics class. So, these 6 students are learning to build a robot for an after-school program here. So there's a whole variety of things. Right now everything is still kind of getting set up. We had this sort of crazy month in December before the space opened where this space was empty, and then suddenly everything showed up and we had to set it all up. And I'm still learning how to use half this stuff because I'm brand new to it. But we opened to the public in January. Some of our first customers were people from some local technology-based startups who wanted to prototype parts for, say, a green air conditioning system. Some of the other people we've been working with are artists in the community, artists who are showing at a gallery that we partner with, so we can print graphics or prototype parts for them. Other things that we've been working on, a lot of architecture firms are interested in working with us because we can make prototypes and models for, whether it's a topographic model of a site or 3D printing a building. There's a lot of ways that they can work with us with that technology. Basically, Evan kind of aimed this at kind of as broad an audience as possible. Hopefully, through Breadboard, we'll be working with people who maybe, are, I guess, from underserved communities who don't have access to any sort of technology like this, and maybe, these are things that we want to kind of make widespread. But, if it's someone who's been a machinist for 60 years and is retired and doesn't have access to this stuff, someone like that could buy a membership and come in here and work on personal projects, because I think that there's a real important sort of personal element and satisfaction in making these things yourselves. I mean, my background is in art, in sculpture, so I'm very hands-on and really understand that love of producing things. So I think that that's, you know, variety of people we're trying to cater to.